Thank you so much for listening to this short little webinar on the basics of special needs trusts. So we sometimes call them SNTs, if you ever hear that word, just for SNT, for special needs trusts. They're basically two kinds, although there are lots of them, but if we think of them in two separate categories, we have special needs trusts that are created because somebody who is on SSI or Altex DDD benefits may inherit money directly, where it's going to be an outright distribution to that beneficiary. Or sometimes, unfortunately, we have a beneficiary who may have been involved in an accident and has some personal injuries, and so they receive compensation and money for their pain and suffering. And again, if they're on Altex and or SSI and DDD benefits, since there's a resource limit, those funds have to go somewhere in order for them to maintain their eligibility. We call those kinds of trusts first-party special needs trusts because it's the beneficiary's money. And on those kinds of trusts, the state that provides Medicaid benefits becomes the remainder beneficiary. So when that individual dies, if there are funds remaining, the state would get the money up to the amount it paid for care for that beneficiary. Your other option, if you watch one of the other webinars, is if the amount is less than $15,000, you may be able to put it into an ABLE account. The second kind of special needs trust is what we call a third-party special needs trust. So that's when you're doing your own estate planning and you want to make sure you leave money to your loved one who may have some issue where they're on SSI and or DDD Altex benefits. So for those folks, the money can go into a trust where you set forth what you want it to be used for, but that it's completely discretionary on the trustee as to whether or not to make distributions or pay vendors for certain services. Those kinds of trusts, the state is not the beneficiary. Whoever you want to get the remainder if your loved one passed away can receive those benefits. Now, one of the questions we get all the time is, well, how do I know how to pick somebody who can help me draft this? Do I just use my regular estate planning attorney, or is there a form online somewhere that I can use? It's really important that you pick somebody that understands the difference. So often we'll see an estate planning document that includes a payback to the state when it wasn't required, or somebody has set up a third-party special needs trust to receive that personal injury award, and SSI is probably going to say that that doesn't work, and now we have to start all over again. The other thing is if you have Social Security disability income, SSDI, and Medicare, you don't need a special needs trust because those benefits aren't related to your assets or unearned income. It's only related to whether or not you can make your own way from an income standpoint and be gainfully employed. So it's really important for you to understand what kind of trust do I need, and do I have somebody who actually understands what the differences are to make sure that it gets drafted correctly and appropriately. So thank you so much for listening.